But I'm gonna rip the band-aid off right now. I'm not
Let's
gonna
do it.
sugarcoat this. Grip your chair right now, sports fans, because it's about to get spicy. The animation blows major ass. I don't think
What?
anyone.
We starting off kind of strong here, ain't we? Salutations and greetings. Good morning, good evening, good night. It all depends on where you're listening from. So today we are talking about the wonderful world of Invincible. If you are living under a rock, Invincible is, how could I sum this up? One of the greatest, and I do mean greatest, one of the greatest animated series of all time. I know it's a little early. I'm gonna put my bid in now. I'm telling you, it's like that. If you have not seen it, please see it. Yes, we will. If you haven't seen it by now, shame on you. It's probably 9 times out of 10. It's gonna be some spoilers. Some spoilers. So get your head in gear. All right. Pause it. Come back after you watch it. Let me know. And then yeah. So we're looking at a video today by Penguin Zero. Or I think his name is Charlie. But anyway, let's see what he has to say about Invincible.
And I gotta let you know, I wasn't let down. I thought it was a really strong finale to a very strong season. But I'm gonna rip the band-aid off right now. I'm not
Let's
gonna
do it.
sugarcoat this. Grip your chair right now, sports fans, because it's about to get spicy. The animation blows major ass. I don't think
What?
anyone.
We starting off kind of strong here, ain't we? I like the animation.
I don't think anyone's surprised to hear me critique that aspect of this show. And
Yeah.
I understand, I've heard the cope about why it's so stiff and bland because of, how tight the schedule is to get it out, that kind of thing. I understand that and not wanting to like work the animators to the bone in order to meet the deadlines. I get all of that. So
Okay.
then let's play ball with a little thought experiment here. What if we don't have it come out on such a strict timeline and give the animators more time to flesh it out to make it look even better? I am not someone that needs the jingling keys at all moments of a show. A lot of my favorite shows are slow burns. Invincible is not that. Every episode of Invincible basically has action. So when you have an
Yeah.
action heavy show where the action looks like action figures colliding in this weightless fucking of nothing, it's jarring.
I didn't think the animation looked like that. It was good to me. With this really, I really didn't take that into account because the story is so good. It don't even I won't even worried about that. Granted, to me, I like the animation. Everything was 10 out of 10 in my eyes.
And feels underwhelming, taking the wind out of the sails of a show that carries so much momentum through extraordinary writing. But since they like to have everything end in
Yeah,
an actual physical
extraordinary.
fight, when it stands out like this for being really not great, it just kind of sucks. Like PNGs floating around. There are multiple moments in season 4 that are reminiscent of fucking Garu sliding down the hill in One Punch Man season 3. And honestly, if this show wasn't so action right up in your titties at all times, I wouldn't care as much because the writing is so strong and I'm really invested in this world and this characters. But with every episode basically having fighting in it and it looks this bad, it stands out a lot and it becomes a
Yeah,
big eye-rolling moment. And I know
it's a
everyone
tough
likes to
take.
shoot spitballs and
Excuse
bukkake
me.
on
It's a tough take.
episode 4 of this season, the one where they go to hell and it feels like filler. That is the most egregious example of it, but it's not just reserved for that. Pretty much all fights, every
Side
time they
note,
clash.
when he went down there, down under, when when um when the boy when he got the crown back or whatever, that fool looked creepy with the smiles and the teeth like in the middle, like that. It was whoa. Now that was creepy looking. That was creepy looking.
Flash looks like that, save for the key moments. And this is where it shows that they have the talent, they have the ability to make beautiful animated fights and these incredible, breathtaking sequences. They save that for like the most pivotal moments, like Conquest Round 2, the fucking remix, or Nolan and
Remix.
Thrag, or really just everything with Thrag getting involved there. Which I get makes sense from their budget and timeline to focus those resources there to elevate those moments because they are so important and it is a huge fight moment. But because it's used so seldomly in the season, it just lets you know what could have been if they decided to actually, maybe pump the brakes a little bit on the cutthroat release schedule and let the whole season get this treatment. It would make
Mm.
everything so much better, in my opinion. And I would personally be fine with a longer wait in between seasons if the entire season can look like that or look like how it did in season 1. I praised the animation in
Okay.
season 1 right when Invincible started. I thought it was beautiful. I thought they did a great job with all of it, and apparently that took like 3 years to do, so I understand that might not be feasible, and that is a much longer wait in between seasons, but surely there's got to be a Goldilocks zone in here somewhere in the pipeline where you get great animation and a timely-ish
See,
release
now I
where it
gotta go
doesn't,
back and
just
compare.
fucking fall into the Stranger Things category of everyone forgetting about it in between seasons. My point is, this show is an incredibly good show. I love Invincible. I think it is captivating. I think it is so fucking strong. But I am constantly let down with the animation now because it just seems to get progressively weaker. So I would just love if
Hmm.
that could be spruced up a bit to get back to its former glory of animation quality or something at least closer to it. But
He's
anyway, I don't
very
want to harp
big
on
on
that too long
quality, I
because
see.
I do
Very big on quality,
have a
I
very
see.
positive takeaway from this season. Like I really like I was very very entertained. As I said, I am very invested in the world and the characters, and I think season 4 gives you so much to chew on because
Yeah.
it brings in I think the most interesting character, which is Nolan. Omni Man is doing everything he can to try and atone for his sins, but this show doesn't just flip the switch like, oh, he's a good guy now, so we all have to forgive him.
Yeah.
It plays with this very complicated character and this very messy man as he's
Yeah, like that whole thing, right? How can you atone for that? Lives were lost, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you come back from that? My man's went crazy. So, so much so that he wandered the galaxy for a hot minute until, he met the Thraxers and all that.
battling his own demons and trying so desperately to prove that he has changed. But with his whole family devastated by what he's done, no one can trust him and everyone's
Yeah.
afraid of him. It is so well written that it's not just like this instant switch that gets flipped where everyone's like, okay, we love Nolan now. See how great he's doing. Let's all pat Nolan on the ass. All right, let's go suck a fart out his butt. Nolan's a good guy now. Yeehaw. They
No,
put
they
him in
make
his
him work
place,
for
let
it.
him know what he did is fucked up, and that he probably will never be able to actually get forgiveness for it. And
Yeah.
Nolan starts to wrangle with that too and starts to accept that they're probably right. He probably won't be forgiven, but he's going to keep trying because now he knows what's right from wrong, and it's what he wants to do. It's
Yeah.
so well delivered. I genuinely think they have done an incredible job with Nolan. And it's not like his relationship with Mark and Oliver instantly get repaired because now they're fighting in this war to eradicate the rest of the Viltrumites to save Earth and everyone they care about. They don't
Hmm.
just instantly become, this perfect father and son relationship, but
They,
slowly and surely they do
they continuously bumping heads.
start to connect again on a
A little
human
bit.
level. And I also really liked Thrag. He lived up to the hype. He is menacing, he is imposing, and he is by far the strongest character we've seen yet. We have
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you, a lot of y'all, a lot of people thought that Thrag was not it. Like a lot of y'all thought that Thrag did not live up. Not only did y'all say that he did not live up to the hype, y'all said that he was weak. Then y'all said what else y'all say? I don't know. But my man's blocked Mark's punch with his hairline. Boy, the the thread glazing is at all time. But it's well deserved.
I haven't even seen him so much as like feel the impact of something. Every blow that was landed on him, he allowed it to land in order
Yes.
to assess the strength of Mark. And at every point, he just aura farms and lets him know that this is disappointing, this is underwhelming, and they stand.
What's his name? Thrag is on par with aura farming to Piccolo. That's how much he aura
No
farmed,
fucking
bro.
chance. Even Space Racer, who has like the anti-everything weapon, Thrag doesn't even blink at it. It can one-shot Viltrumites. It fucking one-shots planets, and Thrag just aura farms on top of it. Just he literally just like Gangnam Styles on it. Like he doesn't care. He is that powerful. It is extremely cool. And speaking of Space Racer, let me talk about the group that the Coalition has put together. Overall, I really like everyone here. I think Alan is still a very enjoyable character.
Yeah,
Uh, I like
I
Space
agree.
Racer. I do think they kind of have to nerf him because he's so powerful. He has the anti-everything doohickey, the gun that can just fucking wipe out the universe by itself, really, if he so chooses. So in order to
But
like
like, see, I would be interested to know like the inner workings of that. Like, what's the ammo? Who created it? You know what I'm saying? I would kind of like to see like a backstory, a quick backstory on that particularly.
compensate for that, he kind of has to be like a moron. And he's not even stupid either because he also like during the showdown with the remaining Viltrumites, he has like an entourage of Ragnar, which are also an anti-Viltrumite species. Like their claws, they're basically like these
Beef.
tiny little fucking dinosaur lizards that can hurt Viltrumites and tear them to pieces. Like the only ones that can do that, really. So he brings them on like leashes and throws them at them like projectiles, which is very cool. So he's not stupid,
It was
but he
great.
doesn't utilize his gun or his motorcycle all that well. Like if he was just smarter and more proactive, he could probably end this entire war by himself, but he just doesn't.
But in his defense, he was in for about 100 years, so he might be a little rusty. Might be a little rusty in his defense.
I still think he's very cool, but you have to kind of suspend disbelief for a moment for a guy that has a weapon that powerful. Now, another character that gets brought into this group is Tech Jacket, and she has this Galadrian technology that is very powerful, repairs itself, is able to keep up with everyone. But I gotta tell you, she doesn't really do a whole lot. Like, what she does do is important, like where she hides herself and Alan on the Viltrumite ship. Like, that obviously is big, but like in a fight,
I can see.
all
I
she
can see
does is
why you
just
say that.
shoot beams, right? Like, she shoots like these meaningless beams that don't do anything, and they just mosquito bites, basically.
You can say that Tech Jacket is more of like a long. I would say she's better as a long distance fighter slash support. Like, the situation like helping Alan out, and then basically when space when his mask got crushed or whatever by Thrag, space what's the name? Tech Jacket repaired Space Racer's helmet. So that was cool.
The Viltrumites, and then she runs away. But she's able to like tank some hits from the Viltrumites, which is impressive. But I don't think she brings a whole lot as of right now. During the skirmish with the Viltrumites, she did have like the Surlock poison, where it does make them vulnerable. So she was shooting that, which is helpful.
Yeah.
But I feel like any character could have done that because it's basically a fucking blow dart of poison. It wasn't really something Tech Jacket brought to the table as like something only Tech Jacket could do. So right now I'm not really sold on Tech Jacket being like a instrumental component of this group that's going to be so important in ultimately winning this battle against the remaining Viltrumites. I was a little underwhelmed there, but I don't think she's a bad character. I just don't think she had a lot to do here. But maybe that changes in the next, season, couple seasons, whatever it looks like.
We'll see.
Oliver in this season also gets a lot to do. He starts.
Oliver, ugh. Listen, bro. He don't listen for nothing. Oliver don't listen for nothing. Oh my god.
To bond with Nolan while Mark is healing from the
That was
Conquest
a nice scene,
rematch. And I think they did a good job of exploring that relationship because Oliver overheard his father saying that he never cared about
which was
his
messed
mother
up.
or anything like that. It was an accident, it shouldn't have happened, that kind of thing. So Oliver now feels like, his father doesn't even fucking respect him, doesn't want him, doesn't care about him, not in the same way as Mark. And that's another really complex theme that they start to tackle, and they do so gradually. So when it does ultimately end with Oliver and Nolan getting closer over the course of a few months, it makes sense. And I thought it was well executed. Oliver, though, it seems like he is constantly just sidelined during the big fights where he overestimates his own abilities, which I think makes sense for the character. They've established that, but it always ends with him just getting basically KO'd. So he attacks Thrag right away, and Thrag just fucking ragdolls and rips his arm off and fucks him up, and then he ends up, decommissioned for many, many months. And when the season ends, he is still recovering, but he's not dead. That just seems to keep happening to him. Like, that seems to be his major role, is like, fuck, Oliver just got blasted again. Shit, all right. It'll be a few months before we hear from him again. But, I'm assuming he'll get stronger and evolve more. Now, let's talk about the star of the show, Mark. Invincible goes through hell in this season, even more so than in previous seasons, I would say. His whole life is constantly just fucking agony. It is incredible the amount of suffering he goes through. So obviously the Conquest rematch ends with him getting his fucking intestines spilled, and he's
crazy,
unconscious and recovering over the course of many months on this strange world. He's away from Eve.
That little teasing message they did, like Conquest was still alive. I was like, bro, I jumped up out my seat, bro. Like, ain't no way he's still here after that, bro. Come on. They got me with that one.
Love of his life. He's away from his home planet. He's away from his mother. He's with his father, who very complicated relationship, understandably. And it's just misery. And even when he does finally recover, then he has to go throw down with Thrag, and Thrag blasts Nolan right in front of Mark. Mark thinks his father is dead, and then it's Mark's turn on the chopping block in the Thrag Thunderdome. He gets knocked out, unconscious. He's getting his eyes gouged out, but then Thrag shows mercy because of how few of them are left. When Mark awakes yet again after this period of needing to rest and recuperate, then he goes back to Earth thinking that the Viltrumites are there, and he is suffering from PTSD. He is constantly seeing Thrag kill people around him, but it's all in his head until the very end, which I thought this was an incredibly powerful moment. He goes for just a casual flight to clear his mind, and then he does run into Thrag. The Viltrumites are there, and Thrag reveals to him that he has a choice to make.
That episode, Mark really needs some help because he was going through it, and he kept seeing these visions. Maybe like, I wouldn't say visions, but hallucinations. It was like 4 or 5 times until finally Big Dog pops up and just mushes, bro. Like, get that weed stuff out of here. We ain't going for that. So here's what's gonna happen. We on your block. We got your women. We in here. And it's nothing, Nathan, Nathaniel, you can do about it. You hear me?
Mark can either let the Viltrumites on his planet continue to try and rebuild their civilization through breeding with humans, which has been proven to work thanks to Nolan, or it can be mutually assured destruction for both their species, because Thrag and the remaining 37 Viltrumites will blow up the whole planet, killing everyone there, and it will spell doom for humans and Viltrumites alike. And that is an incredibly tough thing that Mark has to battle with there, and I think it's done so well. Mark ultimately realizes that the only way is to just agree to the terms. So he does. I thought that was so fucking good. Everything they did with Mark in this season I thought was great. Even when Mark comes home, he learns about what Eve went through when he was gone, thinking that he might be dead, and how she is now pregnant and Mark's not there. So she reaches the incredibly difficult decision to have an abortion, and it's something that now Mark and Eve are now dealing with and feeling the weight of a decision of this magnitude. Season 4 really, like, I thought did an incredible job of building every character and getting them to a point where you genuinely care where it goes next. And they tackle some very deep themes, and I think they do a great job with the writing. But like I said, my big complaint is the animation. If this wasn't a show that had so much action at every step of the way, I wouldn't care as much, because it would solely be, you know, this incredible story with this incredible writing and these great characters that I care about. But because there is always a fight that happens in basically every episode, it stands out when it looks this bad. I'm sorry to say it, but it does. So I just really, really hope that maybe in the next season we can take more time here, give the animators more time to really cook it and let it breathe. Let them finally craft the fights like they did in season 1 or in the Adam Eve special. Like, just getting to something of that quality again would do wonders for the show, especially where it currently is. So anyway, I really liked season 4 of Invincible. I thought it was extremely strong. I would just really like to see more in terms of the animation. And I think that means giving the animators more time. I recognize that maybe that
is pretty much it, though. Definitely check out Invincible if you haven't. Great show, 10 out of 10. I really didn't notice the animation. Now I'm gonna rewatch the whole thing just to see what he was talking about, because I was so locked in I didn't even notice. But make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and what you think down below. Y'all have a good day. We're gonna see you in the next video. Okay, peace.